Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the TerraFirmaPunk series with Rob's Mind. Today guys, we are starting out episode 12 and let's get right into it by doing a level 30 enchantment on this blue steel pickaxe. Now this is old Minecraft enchanting mechanics, so whenever we do the 30 level enchantment, we don't see what it is and we use all 30 levels, and you know what? That is really nice, actually. Efficiency 4 and Fortune 3. I wish I would have got Unbreaking 3. Would have been very useful, but, you know, is what it is. With the Fortune enchantment, I don't think we'll be able to use it to get more ores, but I do think we should be able to use it to get more coal and... Whoa. I guess let's go get all that stuff. So we ended up getting almost 3 stacks of sulfur out of that, which is pretty substantial. Really, really nice. And a giant's pick. And guys, you know how we built this cellar in the last episode? Well, for some reason it doesn't work. Like at all. I cannot get any of the shelves to, like, the food decays in there as if I have it sitting inside of a chest. So, I hate to say it, but, I'm going to scrap that cellar, and we are going to scrap this house, and we are going to do it today. We're going to do it today. Yep, so we're going to do it today. We're going to rip that building out. I'm going to have to move some of the stuff into storage somewhere. I don't even know what I'm going to do with all of this stuff there. But yeah, we're going to rip that out, maybe connect up to the island diagonal to it over there, and perhaps build a large facility right there for refining oil. Yeah, for those of you that happened to catch the last episode, we went and tapped into an oil deposit out in the sea right out here. We'll fly to it together in a little bit after we take a quick nap. But first, we have figured out that we can use pipes to automatically fill these things up and then distribute the fuel into tanks. Well, I also found out something really neat, and it is that these open block tanks actually connect into big tanks. So we can really use that to do some really cool stuff with these tanks, I think. Unfortunately, these don't do the same thing, and they are way expensive. These cost 4 copper sheets and 4 sand in a thermionic fabricator, whereas these open block tanks cost 8 basalt bricks and 1 chipped ruby with 2 of the sand per tank. So we should be able to make 3 right here. Very nice. And the other reason that we're abandoning the cellar, other than it being totally non-functional, has to do with we found another thing that we can do, and it is through this work table. I don't think I shared this with you guys yet, but nothing in here actually gets decay until we pull it out of here. So anything that has decay, like this has 0.4%, that was actually put in there with 0.4% decay however long ago. And we'll just take that out because green apples, they're kind of gross anyways. And check this out. Look at the decay. It's skyrocketing. But if we trim it off real fast, we don't lose a ton of the fruit, and it's fine. So that is really neat, and yeah, I am definitely, that is an exploit that I am going to be using for my cellar system. We're just going to make these work tables and more or less store stacks upon stacks of food in here, and then take it out and trim it up really quick. And before we head out to our oil rig real quick, we need to talk about the pipes too, because I have been using these copper pipes. You can break them so fast with your hand. What? Whoa, what? Oh, I did not know that. I've been breaking them with a pickaxe this whole time. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. But anyways, we've been using these copper pipes right here, and they actually cost 6 copper plates and a piece of sand in a thermionic fabricator, which I haven't cleared this out. Oh, but that's actually okay. We don't need to clear this out, because if we don't clear it out, I realized that once this bar fills up, it's fine. The heat no longer increases, and yeah, we have it nice and hot for putting in our next pieces of glass. But as I was saying, these things cost 6 copper sheets per pipe. And I found a recipe, and I feel so dumb that I haven't been using this the whole time. 6 iron ingots, just like that, and 1 piece of glass, and you get 8 pipes, and they are, oh, they're so much faster too. I mean, how quick are these? They are double speed, 180 millibuckets per tick, and these are 360. So yeah, the iron ones are way better. And I'm also hooking up water tanks up on top of this because I'm getting tired of bucketing in water, bucket after water bucket. And I actually want to make a few more of those tanks, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll get a stack of these, put those in there with a chisel to get our bricks, put our ingredients in there, and then pop our sand in there, and that should give us enough for 8 of these tanks. So needless to say, we are making a decent amount of these tanks, and the deal with these tanks are that you can only use basalt bricks. Now, I have a confession to make. There are little pillars, like rock pillars, that are naturally generating across the TerraFirmaCraft terrain, and I have found one of them that has been basalt. And I mined the entire thing with a giant's pick, and we are pretty much surrounded in all of the basalt that I have, which means we need to find basalt. Now, before we set out, I think it would be wise if we went down and did another tree harvest real quick. Yeah, coming down and tree farming is often where I get a lot of my levels, because as you're going through, yeah, we tend to generate a couple of these guys. But they chop down rather easily with an axe. So using this halberd now, and with like armored enemies and stuff, man, it does really good. Now, one thing I do want to do is transfer my fuel over into these open blocks tanks, because I do not want to... I want to use these specifically for creosote oil now. Looks like we got a little bit of an invasion going on at my house. Now that guy's taken care of, let's hop up here and grab this. Is our medium voltage capacitor, and we've gotten it totally filled up. I think this is how I'm going to keep this from now on, because our windmills just charge this really good, and this is like our buffer, and then we can go ahead and turn this on anytime that we need a little bit extra power. These things don't do us much for power. That's why we really want to upgrade those windmills, but also I have been working on getting a lot of these water wheels, which we are going to be using in a little while. But now we're going to head out in this direction from our house to the west, I believe that is. Yep, the west. And we are going to go out to our oil rig and get a few more tanks of this oil to refine. And there it is, looking very rough, but that's okay. We're just using it for a little bit to get some oil off of it, and there we go, that's fully charged, so we should be pumping out oil. Perfect. Now we can hook these tanks up like that to the backside of this refinery. And you can actually stack them up like that, and it'll all drain down into this thing over time. Then I've been just temporarily placing down the medium voltage capacitor that we just bring along with us, and hook it up there, and then hook this up to recharge it. And now we are refining all of that into these tanks, and we can actually just kind of do this right here, because we are going to be getting 3 tanks out of this. And that is going to be the basic concept of our refinery over there. We may just make it on this top of the mountain right here anyways, and right over here I'm kind of thinking about having our water wheels going down and then running the power back up and into that building, and maybe even sharing it with this building as well. And we can use that to actually provide us with a ton of power, because the more water wheels that we make, the more power that we can produce, theoretically. All that we would have to do is not stack them too much before we get high voltage energy, in order to avoid burning out our wires. Now you guys will happen to notice a jump in levels and a spike in the maximum health of us, and that is simply because I've been out trying to kill spiders and get ourselves on some string, and I've also been keeping up on my food, because now I can just, pop in here and be like, oh, what food do I need? If anything, I'm actually struggling on protein because we need to go out and kill something. One of you guys suggested that I should build an animal pen, and I promise I'm gonna get to all of the normal stuff soon. I'm just having so much fun just wrecking this pack with all of the technological advancements, and I really think it's gonna help us. As silly as it sounds, it's going to help us in the long run with everything in the pack, especially building and all of that stuff. I mean, think about how painful and tedious building would have been if I didn't get this jetpack and I have a barrel on my back. But yeah, things would have been a lot more tedious and time-consuming, and now I have went through and been busy on the blast furnace, getting tons upon tons of pig iron here, and all of this stuff actually remains hot enough to be worked and even welded while sitting on the shelf. You just pop them out of their molds whenever they're ready, and you can put them on any of these shelves, and they retain their heat, which is just an awesome feature, I gotta say. But we are going to be working all of that and getting into a plan. I have a plan. I have a big plan, and it is an expensive plan. We've been talking about the biodiesel generator last episode, and I really want to get it, but it is in conjunction with a couple of different machines. But they are very expensive, and more specifically, very steel expensive. I mean, we are talking over 150 steel ingots, and right here we're looking at 24. That's our main steel supply right here. 24 ingots. It's raining, but yeah, we are going to be going through and working all of this steel out and getting into all of the machinery that we are going to be needing. And less than 10 minutes later, all of that steel is worked, and we got 64 and 12, so 76 ingots of steel. Very, very nice. We'll toss that onto the pile, even though we are going to be stripping that completely gone very, very soon. Yeah, that's only 100 ingots of steel. We still have to process another 50 ingots. And that is our last barrel of rich limonite here, so we really only have 2 more full batches to go. 14 more ingots in there. We're probably going to have to go out and mine some more limonite for this. But before we get too much into all of that, here is the plan. Obviously, we have been talking about this biodiesel generator here, but this thing costs a lot of steel. The biodiesel generator, we can take 2 different types of fuel. Biodiesel, which is made from plants, which we are not going to mess with at all, or fuel, which is bad for the environment, and refined from oil, which we are definitely going to do, because look at the stats. It's triple the effectiveness of biodiesel, so we are definitely going to be using this. The burn time is 3 times the length, so yeah, that's going to be really, really good. And we will be using the biodiesel as a mobile fuel source, believe it or not, along with the tanks that we can fit together and pipe directly into it. Oh, and you know what? I did not know that there were 3 pages, and only the 3rd page of this book actually shows you the entire materials list, so I was 56 steel ingots short that we're gonna need. Which is always wonderful. But as I was saying, we're going to use it in combination with this excavator to get tons upon tons of ores. We'll be able to set this thing up after using one of these, a core sample drill. Pretty much we'll have to take this and hook it up to a mobile power source, such as one of our capacitors. But it only takes 40 RF per tick. So I was looking into one of these capacitors because that's actually really nice. It holds 64 million RF, which means we would be able to take that core sample drill, which will tell us like chunks in the world where we can get rich deposits of veins and where we can set up our excavator, and we can use it to mark the chunks out on our map for really awesome ore veins. We're going to have so many ores that I'm going to have to build like some kind of metal palace to just hold all of my metals in. It's going to be amazing, but we're going to really have to spend a ton of steel. You got to spend money to make money, right? So, yeah, this is going to be great, but that is the deal with the refinery that I want to hook up to. Like I briefly mentioned it. I was editing the video. I thought I touched up more on it in this video, but yeah, I want to build a refinery right here specifically for turning oil into fuel. Really horrible, I know, but we're gonna do it. And it doesn't have to be massive, because these refineries up here, let's face it, they are ridiculously expensive. Each refinery takes a thermoelectric generator and 2 of these golden electron tubes. The thermoelectric generator, we have to smelt up copper and nickel to make constantan, get some steel. We got 8 copper ingots and then an iron ingot in there. It's like a lot of stuff. Not to mention, we've got these, which are 5 gold and 2 redstone, which, you know, it'll make 2 batches of these, but still. I think what we're going to be aiming for is, oh man, it's hard to say, maybe 10? I'll have to map it out and see exactly how many that I want to put in there. We're going to definitely clear out the land and set up our refinery and then build the building around it so that we've got plenty of space to design and expand in if necessary. And also, I think I have decided where I want to put our water wheel array, but we are going to need this to do it. So right here, I've kind of got the grass cut out, and it is a line of stone, more or less, right here. Oh, man. Oh, that mining speed is really nice. Like, compare it to this one. Oh, I could really get used to that. And I've got a demonstration right here of what we're going to be doing up there. So we're going to hook it up starting up kind of at the top of the mountain, and we'll add it going down as we need it, and even remove this as we need to. Even with a giant's pick, we'll just tear it all the way out and go all the way down, even all the way down to bedrock once we get into high voltage stuff, because I think that this will be, like, so useful and very powerful. Like, even right here with this turning like that, we should be producing 30 RF per tick per water wheel. So that's 150 RF per tick right there with the 5 water wheels. That's more power than I'm producing up there altogether. Right now, I believe I'm producing about 40 RF per tick with my 2 windmills. But I think before we do anything else, guys, it's time. We need to rip this structure out and get it leveled all the way down to the ground. It's going to be a lot of work because I have chests in here. There's stone in here. I was thinking about just burning it down, but there's stuff that's valuable in here, actually. We've got a couple of wither skulls from wither skeletons, so I don't know if you can fight the wither in this mod and get beacons, but if we end up getting totally rich on our metals, think of what a flex it would be to have a full beacon in TerraFirmaCraft. Alright, so we got a pretty respectable start over there. I tore out the old building, and we have begun anew. We'll go check it out in a minute once we get some resources going. So let's press some of this constantan into plates. And this is going to cost 21 steel ingots. We're also going to need 56 copper ingots. Alright, good. We need to swap out our plate mold for our coil mold next and throw in all of that copper and say bye-bye. And we place them in like that. I've actually got more coming, but we're going to go ahead and make these while the others are pressing out in the mold. Then we need to take the copper wire coils, the constant tan plates, and the steel to get the thermoelectric generators. We are going to be digging into the last of our gold supply for this one. We need 15 out of the 19 gold left. Yeah, so we used the gold and the redstone in order to craft these golden electron tubes. Then we take the thermoelectric generators, the tanks, like that, and the golden tubes, and we get the refineries. And there we go. There's our 8th one. Let's go place them into our little building over here. Coming up to it, I like how it looks so far. I think we might need to go a little bit out this way in terms of size of the building, but, you know, I'm kind of limited on the amount that I've got here as far as structure of the mountain goes. So when designing this with refining the oil in mind, we want to go ahead and put a tank right here, and that'll be like our bottom tank. We don't want anything below that. We have to turn that blue to get it to extract. And that'll have a pipeline running all the way under here and up, and it'll go to the back of all of our refineries. So we should be able to cover that back up. Yeah, that'll be nice. Now anytime that we want to refine our oil, we can just go ahead and pop those on top, and these open block tanks all connect to one another, which means all the oil will flow down into this block, and we'll be able to pick up our empty tanks, you know, once it's done doing its thing. Next, I think we're going to want to place a tank, then a pipe, and a refinery like that, and we'll have to kind of set it to drain like that. And once we've got those placed in, we should be able to just run our pipes across like that, and that should be good. We'll have to go and grab some of our oil in a little bit so that we can give this a proper test run. But yeah, that'll be pretty cool. And then we are going to take and put medium voltage connectors on this, because as I said earlier, we are going to be generating a lot of power by setting up this water wheel array. Alright, I just crafted up 2 more batches of pipes. Let's grab our 9 more empty tanks. I think we're only going to use 9. I went and I found a basalt generating area. We have a basalt mine now, people, and we are gonna probably do a short little time lapse and get to it in just a moment. But first, let's run over to our oil rig so we can at least give the system a little bit of a test. Alright, so check it out. We got our pump jack back, and that is because I actually tapped out the oil reserve there. It got dark, so unfortunately it wasn't any good to film there. But, yeah, let's go ahead and check this out in the meantime and see if this theory works. Will this just straight up distribute it all out? Oh man, that is one of the coolest things I have ever seen. Okay, so interesting. We may have to, like, stack them for the best result, but I think that this is working just fine. See how they're all getting a little bit of a different amount in them. Yeah, that's really cool. So now this is all full of oil, and all of these are totally full of oil. So once we hook up our water wheel, we should be able to give this, like, a fully proper test run. I may have to craft up some electrum so that we can run some medium voltage wire through this, but I think other than that, we are ready, guys, and I am so excited. Alright, we got some electrum going. Let's take some clay and make some of these clay insulator parts. We'll have to fire those up in a pit kiln and use a minimum of 4 of them, I believe, will make us 8 of our connectors that we're going to need. Well, there went the orange tree. So we'll use 4 of these ceramic insulators and 3 iron to make some medium voltage wire connectors. Alright, I think I've got everything that we need. Let's go ahead and start building this water wheel system. Alright, so far we've got one of the water wheel trays in, and yeah, let's go ahead and go and test up the system and see how much power we're getting. Alright, we're going to have this hooked up a lot differently later, but for the sake of this test, is this getting power? No, it's still not. Is this getting power? It is. Oh, never mind, it's getting power. I just had to link them all together. But, oh my god, it is so struggling. It cannot power that many refineries at once. Alright, interesting. So even just hooking up a single one of these refineries, it is not doing so hot on 5 water wheels. So we are going to have to definitely continue onwards and downwards with that system. Now, before we leave to the basalt mines, are we able to repair this? We are. Oh, we are. Oh, that will be wonderful. We are going to go ahead and use that out there. It significantly drops our health to reduce our levels like that, but, you know, it is all going to be worth it in the end. Let's head out east to our basalt mine. Alright, we have finally made it to my torch ring. It is a long way away. I think it was almost 4,000 blocks away. Yeah, we went really far. Look at all the land that we traversed. And yeah, there's our base. So, lots and lots and lots of land. As a matter of fact, let's turn on our home. 3,882 blocks away. But regardless of how far away it is, we want to drop all the way down here. And nice. We would like to begin mining all of this basalt up. So I guess there's only one way to start, and that's just to start. Alright, we made it back home and we got 2 full barrels of the basalt cobblestone as well as a full digger's backpack. So that's an additional 15 slots and then 24 more slots of it. So yeah, we got enough basalt that we shouldn't have to go and hit the basalt mines for a very, very long time. So our next plan for progression in this pack is to move forward on building our water wheel array going downwards. I don't believe we'll have to place any more water source blocks. I should be able to just set up my next tray and then dig out those 4 blocks so that the water flows straight down. Should work out pretty well, and I think the water will continue to flow across like it does. We'll have to see. Otherwise, we'll have to put some new source blocks in, but it's not a big deal. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and if you did enjoy, please do hit that like button, and I will see you guys in the next one.